Hello, class. Welcome to topic 2. What we know is that social workers are required to have knowledge and skills to practice with individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. Theories can be thought of as maps. Theory is ever present in our practice. Whether we take time to think about it or not, it informs our thinking, the choices we make, and the interventions we plan and carry out. When we decide a course of social work action, we are doing we're doing so with the assumption that our actions will make a difference, a particular kind of difference. That means we have a theory about what will work and what won't work to create a desired change. To practice social work with the intention and integrity, we need to think critically and explicitly about the theories that guide our practice. And this chapter will provide you with information regarding theories and the life course perspective. Now, DQ1 asks you to define the 5 basic concepts of the life course perspective. According to Hutchinson, the 5 basic concepts are cohorts, transitions, trajectories, life events, and turning points. And as you go through this, you will begin to understand what these perspectives are all about and how they impact the individuals. Now, cohort relates to groups of persons born during the same time period who experience particular social changes within a given culture in the same sequence and at the same time. Transition is sort of self-explanatory to the extent that transition equals changes in roles and status that represent a distinct departure from prior roles and statuses, going from employment to retirement. That's a transition. Trajectories, on the other hand, is relatively stable long-term processes and patterns of events involving multiple transitions. Life events are significant occurrences in a person's life that may produce serious and long-lasting effects. And finally, turning points. Turning points are life events or transitions that produce a lasting life course trajectory. Understanding these elements will certainly help you begin to understand where your particular diverse population is coming from. As we begin to look at the life course perspective, there are also dimensions. And the first dimension, well, you have the biological, psychological, psychosocial, and spiritual. And you will find each one of those will be taken separately. But I wanted to explain to you that the biological dimension is the body's biochemical, cell, organ, and physiological systems. And these are the systems, and you can read them. I won't go into that. Then there is the psychological dimension. That's the mind and the behavior. And of course, as I said, each chapter will go into depth with these dimensions. Then there's the psychosocial dimension, which relates to the self in relationship with others. And then finally, there is the spiritual, which is the aspect of the person that searches for meaning and purpose in life. And as I again just repeat myself, you will have information on each one of these dimensions as you go through this chapter. When we look at the dimension of uh, the life course perspective, we have to begin to look at the environment. The environment is very impactful on the individual. So within that, there is culture, social structures and institutions, dyads, families, small groups, organizations, communities, and social movement. Thinking about the environment as a whole, each one of those elements impact you. Perhaps maybe not social movements, but I want you to think about that at some point. Now, culture is a system of knowledge, beliefs, values, language, symbols, etc. And they actually subconsciously or consciously impact who we are. Social structures and social institutions are stable, patterned sets of roles, statuses, groups, and organizations that provide a basis for behavior in particular areas of life. And when we talk about um, this whole, oh, excuse me. When we talk about stable, organized, patterned sets of roles, what is indicated here is that each one of us has a role that we play in society. Um, Women have this expressive role, and when we go beyond that, it creates kind of chaos in society. It's like, you're not supposed to be doing that. So I want you to think about that. Now, dyads, of course, are two persons bound together in some way. You know about families, which is a social group of two or more persons characterized by ongoing interdependence. Small groups, two or more people who interact with each other because of shared interests, goals, experiences, and needs. Organizations, and I'm pretty sure we'll talk about Weber here, but it's a collection of people deliberately coming together to pursue a common purpose. Communities are communities. People are bound either by geography or by webs of communication, sharing common ties and interacting with one another. And then finally, social movements. And social movements are sustained and intentionally organized collective efforts, usually outside of established institutions, to advance causes and challenges existing social systems. Another element of the life course perspective, of course, is time. We have historical time and chronological age. And that in and of itself is self-explanatory. But age is a person measured in years, months, and days from the date of birth to the end of life. As found in your textbook, I just wanted to bring to your attention the various theoretical perspectives that you will have to respond to in DQ2. You have the systems perspective, conflict perspective, social constructionist perspective, psychodynamic perspective, developmental perspective, learning perspective, and humanistic perspective. And I want you to understand these because again, you will be utilizing several of these theoretical perspectives as you're working with your clients. I place the essay in this topic or in this projection to make sure that you read the information very, very clearly. The first thing you have to do is select 3 of the theoretical perspectives. Then what you need to do, I think the easiest thing to do is to develop a PowerPoint discussing each of the perspectives. And that should actually then provide you with a very rich and thorough examination of each of the perspectives. Now, there are several elements to this perspective, but what you need to know is that each of the 3 perspectives that you choose, you must talk about the foundational principles. Identify the core principles of or beliefs that underpin the perspective. And then you have to talk about the target population. What specific population or group does this theory, is this theory useful to? Then you have to discuss the intervention strategies. Outline the primary intervention strategies associated with each of the perspectives that you chose. You must indicate ethical considerations, and I want to tell you that if you look at the NASW Code of Ethics, I think there's 7 or 8 standards, and you need to look at those to see how they are integrated into the theories that you chose. And then, of course, you have to cite 3 to 5 scholarly sources to support your content. And you can just certainly provide a reference page, but you may have some in-text citations that you want to use to support what you're saying. And with that ends topic 2. I certainly hope if you have any questions, send me a Halo message and we can work those questions through. Otherwise, enjoy the week, and I will see you in our Zoom meeting.